Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, hello, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and this is Even the Ocean. If you've been with my channel for a while, you'll know how excited I've been about this game. I've been following it through its development, and it's finally been released. For some context before we begin, it was made by the same people who made Anodyne, which is one of my favourite indie games of all time. I played it back in January of 2015, I believe, and here we are, nearly 2 years later, with not the sequel, but a game not even of the same type. I suppose it's better if we just start playing. Now, this is 100% blind. This is a day one play. Like, I literally bought this half an hour ago, and I've only opened it to set it up, and apparently the settings don't stay saved between closing the game and reopening it, which, I don't know, maybe that's just a day one bug, but enough blathering. Let's just start the game. I don't know, the anticipation is... Nah, I like the anticipation, but no more. The game's out now, so let's play it. Go! I don't know what to expect, but I know it's going to be good, because they live-streamed the development of this game and I watched it, and it's great. How... Oh, right, this is clever, because the guys who made this game know how people play. So, there's the full game, which is what we're going to be doing. There's story mode, well... That story mode isn't really the best description. They get rid of all of the gameplay elements, so it becomes more of a side-scrolling visual novel, kind of like Oxenfree, so there's not as much, like, it's not challenging to get through, it's just a story experience, which is great, because these guys are brilliant storytellers. There's the opposite of that, which is just the gameplay without the story, and then there's Warp. Oh, so that's like chapter select, which is really cool. Okay, well, we're doing full game, because... Full game, first time playthrough, day one. I've rambled enough. Can we just start? I don't want to change the game mode. I want to experience the game in its fullest. Is there some way of speeding up this text? Oh, I love that. You have to actually hold that. Oh, you can't skip through the. That's it. I remember seeing this in the live streams where they were developing the game. In order to select an item on a list, you actually have to hold down the button so you can't accidentally pick the wrong one. Oh, these guys are geniuses. And I've already taken the liberty of scrolling through all this. For some reason, the full screen always defaults to on when you open the game. I've already optimized the key bindings so that they best suit me. For some reason, those reset every time you open the game. Maybe that'll save once I save in-game. We shall see. And there doesn't appear to be, unless speedrun options. Fast. I don't want fast dialogue. I just want it to be faster. I looked through all of these before I started recording. I think that's everything. So confirm settings. Okay, I can hold down the Z button to speed up dialogue. Okay, that's fine by me. So yes, everything's fine. I misread that as twerk. Okay, so. We get it, these guys are geniuses. On with the story after, like, 5 minutes of blusterous intro, which is entirely my fault. Hello there. Hi, can I help you? Can you help me? Can one of us be helped by the other? Yes, I did. Should I read this dialogue out loud? Because you lovely people can read as well. I'll just do what I normally do and react to the text, I suppose, unless someone complains. And yes, you've been promising this for, like, years now, and I'm finally getting to hear it. Yes, and I will help with that by sharing it with the internet. Will it? Because there are people, and continents, and oceans, and lakes, and rivers, and humans, and lions, and tigers, and bears, oh my. Well, that's nice. Now, here's the big thing with this game. There's dark energy, which is purple, and light energy, which is sort of a bluey-green. The more dark energy you have, the faster you move left to right, and the more light energy you have, the more your vertical movement is increased. And you can't have an abundance of both. You can have either a balance or an imbalance, and it'll become apparent. It's a really clever mechanic, and this is what you have instead of health. So if you have too much of one type of energy, you die. But you can have one in abundance as long as there's at least a little bit of the other. Or you could just have both, and that's... You know, the storyteller here is probably going to explain it even better than I could, but... It'll become apparent from the gameplay, trust me. Ah, White Forge City. I've heard a lot about it. I don't know why I've gone quiet. I suppose I should be quiet and read this to myself, and you can read this at your own pace as well, because it's hard to focus on someone talking and reading stuff as well. And I just said I'd shut up. I'm gonna shut up. Apparently so is the storyteller. Okay. Power plants. We've heard about these. Those seem to be the main gameplay elements, and the main story elements are the stuff in between them. So they do stuff with the energy types so that people could use them. And that's where our story begins, apparently. Fée Rouge. Is it meant to sound French? So here we go. Aleph. Aleph? Aleph? Internally, I pronounce it Aleph, but I think the developers pronounced it Aleph. So, she's a technician, and there's another technician, and that's as much as I know about the story. Because they were doing game development live streams, and that I've seen bits and pieces, but nothing to form a coherent story in my head. So, Act 1. Begin. Okay, Aleph's first. That's my only complaint so far. The text is really slow, but... I apologise for my commentary. I haven't recorded it in a while, so... bear with. I suppose I should read out dialogue so that I'm not just making random noises, so... Hey, rookie! What are you, taking a nap? Sorry, just resting my eyes. I feel like I'm getting a migraine. Something's not right in the air today. It just feels tense or something. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't. Do you? No. Who's who here? Who's voicing whom? I grew up near here. Actually, I was kind of glad to get this as my first assignment, since I'm familiar with the area. Slow text. I used to sneak into the plant as a kid and look for the machinery that I'd read about in my copy of Large-Scale Energy Management, Standards and Procedures. Wow, you were a fun child! What's next? Ergodic Thermodynamics. Dearie me. Right, well, there's no more time for sitting around. We've got a power plant to fix. I don't know why I'm doing the Cod Morgan Freeman voice there. 5 minutes on the job and I'm already embarrassing myself. Well, never mind. I just need to focus on the work today. Cassidy will be okay with me if I could do the work. You do that work. You work, Aleph. Alola form. Okay, so here we are. Fée Rouge, the Hills of Red Ferns. By the way, the art and the music in this game is guaranteed to be gorgeous because that's what the people who made this game specialize in. Because Anodyne was beautiful and had an amazing soundtrack, and I doubt this will be any different in that regard. So, ah yes, that's one thing. Because the controls of this game, it's the X key to jump, which to me feels like it should be like the run button or something, and that Z should be jump, but because the way the menus work, the jump button is also the cancel button. So I have to set jump to what feels to me in my head like B, because I will automatically press that when I mean to say no in a conversation rather than yes. Okay, so basic platforming is basic. Now, I remember seeing an area like this in an early prototype footage way back in the day, and we have this suit, we have no energy, so our vertical and horizontal movements are greatly impeded. And I'm sure it's yes, you just told me that. Basically the same controls, funnily enough, as the Agent 9 levels in Spyro Season of Flame, which is a weird comparison to draw. Save point. So the same as Anodyne, except that had tiles on the floor that had just a glowing sea on them. They'd refill your health and save your game. And in development, they had a similar sort of thing, like a machine kind of thing, and they've been replaced with storyteller statues, it seems. Because, like I said, I've watched the game in development, so... Oh, that's clever. So, these are automatic. I did wonder, because it wasn't obvious based on the development footage that I saw. Like, you could... It looked like you could walk over save points and not necessarily activate them, but they looked very different. I don't think I have any screenshots of them, but I will put one up if I find one, because I've followed this game, and it's so pleasing to finally be able to see what it's like in the flesh, I suppose. I'm sorry, I'm fangasming a little bit. A sap pad. Interesting naming convention there. So I need to give dark energy to open this door. Now, I suppose I should ask here and now, would it be annoying if I refer to them as... Like, should I call them purple and green, or light? I'm inclined towards light and dark, because that's what I knew them as first. Or X and Y. I'm okay with calling it X and Y energy, but I think no one else would. So these suits have infinite energy in them. That's useful because it's a huge game mechanic, and it wouldn't be it wouldn't make for a good game if we just had infinite energy all the time. So, if I'm understanding what was said correctly, because I'm trying to commentate at the same time, these pads are blue because they draw purple energy out, or green, whatever. They draw purple energy out of us to power this door. And because we're losing purple energy, that means we're gaining green energy. Or, you know, we're losing dark, therefore we're gaining light. And if the opposite were true, then vice versa. So if there were purple sap pads, they would open green doors because they're taking out our light energy, which would increase our dark energy. This will become so much more apparent as the game progresses. And these pod things, they fill you up with energy of the kind that matches their colour. But I suppose we're not supposed to know that yet. So those light ones fill us up with light, which increases our verticality, and these purple ones reduce our light and fill us with dark, which makes us more horizontally inclined. But you can't really tell with these suits because they're so heavy and so infinitely energetic. I've seen footage of what this game is like once it gets going. It's not this sluggish throughout, I can promise that much, despite the fact that this is blind. Something jiggled. Whoa, what was that? It sounded like a huge lightning strike. Maybe an explosion? I'd better be careful. I kind of want to give Aleph a voice, but if I voice her, like, I feel like I could give her an accent, but then whatever accent it is, that'll be offensive to someone, I'm sure. Aleph! I'm sure it should be Aleph, but I'm going to call her Aleph, and oh, that's not good. Get off the bridge! Those chains fill you up with energy very quickly. Like, they are a huge hazard. They are not quite insta-kill, but if you stand on them for more than like a second, you will die. Once we get into the main game, that is. We've got these hazmat suits for the moment, so we shouldn't have to worry about them. But that was very worrying, and now there's this. Oh dear. She said to get off the bridge, and what did we do? We got off the bridge, but in the wrong direction, so we had to cross more bridge to get out of the bridge. You saw what happened. Why am I commentating that? Ugh. What happened? My suit is damaged. Ugh. Like, what a total drag. Oh my god. I am not gonna give her that kind of voice. Is Cassidy dead already? I can't even if you are. That's gonna happen a lot. I'm gonna keep pressing X to interact even though it's Z because there's just one backwards thing about the menus. Cassidy, don't seriously be dead, please. What do we have here? The remains of the suit. Wow. I wasn't even aware that there were radios on them to begin with. So, now we are actually exposed to energy, and... Oh! Oh, we have a shield. I knew that, like, a shield was part of the mechanics of this. That from a single direction can protect you against the energy if you don't want to absorb it. Why, thank you, storyteller. That's incredibly helpful. But I didn't realize that the shield was part of that mech suit. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that. This game is so clever. Ah, right, okay. And then you can lock the shield? You can lock the shield. That's what the Z key's for. Okay. That is a useful. So... you have to hold it down. I see. Okay. Clever times. So, yeah, we have that energy meter at the bottom of the screen now, so we are to be affected. Like, okay. I don't know why I took, well, not damage from one of those energy balls, but I feel like it should have hit my shield and it didn't, but see, because they're made of light, we're filled up on light energy, so we can we can jump goodlier now, but we're also close to dying, because if we have too much of one type of energy, we will die. I want to get into proper commentating, but I feel like this needs explaining, but at the same time it'll become apparent just by playing, and first episodes are always like this, don't worry about it. Okay, this I already understand. You can pause and read that, but that's what I was explaining, that if you have too much of one type of energy, then you die. Like, if you have all of one and none of the other. So that's the main game mechanic. I believe it was inspired by how the developers wanted to defy convention with games in general, and what, like, the convention they were going to defy with this one was who needs a health meter in a platformer. So, or, well, in this sort of thing in general. No thank you, I want to stay balanced, just so that I have... Like, this is as close as you're going to get to full health, because balance is a thing. I misread that as cucumber. Because, of course. Why would it say anything other than cucumber? So that means that we're able to wall jump. And apparently she wall jumped as a child as well. So that's useful. And pardon me for going quiet to, just so I can understand this. That looks like it's, fairly self-explanatory, and it's intuitive. Okay, yes. Because once again, I've seen this in development, and yeah, that is as easy as it looks. That's good times indeed. Now, can I jump up this side of... Yes, oh, you can jump up almost any kind of wall. Because, I mean, any game with wall jumping is going to have a type of wall you can't jump up. So, we haven't run into that yet. I feel like this didn't necessarily need a tutorial, but I appreciate it anyway. I am so going to have to change which way around the jump button is and the shield button, because this is kind of frustrating, because the way I've got it at the moment, accept and cancel are on the buttons I'd expect them to be, but everything else isn't. So I'm either going to have to get used to it or do something about it. We shall see. But because the game has more gameplay than dialogue choices, I suppose I should change it to the other way around. Something I'll do between episodes. Okay, so we're gonna get to the center of the first main level, which would be the power plant here in Fey Rouge, and that will be how we inform people of Cassidy's apparent demise. Well, that's lovely. But this looks like a good place to end the episode. So, I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and in the next one, we will go deeper into Fey Rouge Power Plant, and use the radio and inform people that a bad happened, and Cassidy may be dead. And can I just take a moment to gush about Alif's hairstyle, because she's got the whole light and dark aesthetic going on her fringe, and everything about this game is brilliant! But I suppose I should regain my composure, and see you in the next one. Have a nice life!